Life in the colony continued peacefully, strengthened by their new alliance with the Lumarians. Ryan, Kalara, and Taruk worked closely with their new allies, exchanging valuable knowledge and strategies. The colony prospered, and trust among different species deepened. One morning, however, urgent news came again. Taruk summoned Ryan and Kalara quickly to the command center. As they entered, Ryan saw the seriousness on everyone's faces and felt an immediate sense of concern. What happened? Ryan asked urgently. Tar UK pointed to the screen, displaying several images and sensor readings. Our scouts detected movements from the hostile colony. This time, their actions seem more aggressive. They are mobilizing for a major strike. Ryan felt his stomach tighten. When will they attack? Within 2 days, Taruk answered grimly. Kalara stepped closer, studying the data carefully. They're better prepared this time. Our defenses must be stronger, Ryan nodded. We'll prepare immediately. We need everyone ready. Quickly, the entire colony mobilized. Warriors trained rigorously, while other colonists built barricades and prepared shelters. The Lumarians also sent support, reinforcing the defenses with their advanced technology. Ryan spent hours strategizing with Taruk and Kalara, going over every possible scenario. We have to assume they're coming with everything they have, he said. Determination clear in his voice. Tar UK nodded firmly. Agreed. This battle may define our future. As the day of the attack drew closer, Ryan and Kalara found themselves working late into the night, fine-tuning strategies and defense positions. Despite the pressure, their teamwork remained strong and effective. Finally, the day arrived. Early morning brought a tense silence across the colony, everyone waiting nervously. Ryan stood calmly beside Taruk and Kalara, watching the horizon. Carefully, suddenly alarms blared, signaling the attack had begun. Ryan saw enemy forces approaching, rapidly organized, disciplined, and heavily armed. Taking a deep breath, he prepared himself, steadying his nerves. Stay strong, Ryan called out to everyone around him. We fight as one. The attackers struck fiercely, testing every defense line. Ryan moved quickly, coordinating closely with Taruk and Kalara, responding swiftly to every threat. Warriors and colonists fought bravely, inspired by the leadership and courage shown by their leaders. During a critical moment, a group of attackers broke through a weakened point. Ryan immediately responded, rushing to defend it. Taruk joined him, fighting side by side, holding back wave after wave of attackers. Kalara skillfully coordinated reinforcements, ensuring support arrived just in time. Hours passed, exhausting and brutal. Despite heavy fighting, the defenders remained strong, their unity unbreakable. Ryan's determination encouraged everyone around him, giving them strength to fight harder. At last, the attackers began to falter, their initial advantage fading quickly. The Lumarians' technological support provided a decisive advantage, disrupting enemy communications and weakening their attacks. Slowly, the enemy forces began retreating, unable to break through. Exhausted but triumphant, the colony celebrated their hard-earned victory. Ryan, Taruk, and Kalara stood together, breathing heavily, grateful and relieved. We did it, Kalara said softly, smiling with tired joy. Tar UK nodded proudly. Because we stood united. Our enemies did not understand our true strength. Ryan felt deep satisfaction and pride in their success. They underestimated us. Our unity is stronger than any weapon. After the battle, the colony quickly rebuilt damaged structures and improved their defenses even more. The Lumarians remained close allies, solidifying the trust and respect between them. Days later, a ceremony was held to honor the bravery and resilience shown by everyone during the attack. Ryan, Taruk, and Kalara stood side by side, receiving praise and gratitude from their community. During the ceremony, the Lumarian leader stepped forward, speaking warmly to everyone present. Your courage and unity inspire us deeply. Together, we have shown that different species can thrive together in peace and strength. Ryan felt a profound sense of accomplishment, looking around at all the diverse faces smiling back at him. He knew their victory was not just military. It represented hope, unity, and a future built on trust and cooperation. As the celebration continued, Ryan found a quiet moment with Kalara. "We've come a long way," he said quietly, looking out over the gathered crowd. She smiled softly. "Yes, we have. And it's only the beginning," Ryan nodded, feeling hopeful. "Together, we can face anything that comes our way." They stood silently, enjoying the peaceful moment, feeling confident and secure. Ryan knew challenges would always be part of their lives, but together, they would always overcome them, stronger and more united each time. That night, Ryan slept peacefully, knowing their colony was safer and stronger than ever before. He felt proud of what they had achieved and hopeful for what lay ahead, knowing that their unity would always guide them forward. After the recent battle, the colony gradually settled back into its routine. Ryan, Taruk, and Kalara worked hard to improve the defenses, knowing the threats were not yet fully gone. Despite their hard work, a lingering unease remained, a quiet feeling that something was still waiting in the shadows. One afternoon, Ryan was fixing the settlement's communications tower when he heard voices nearby, sounding urgent and worried. He climbed down quickly and found Kalara talking nervously with several other aliens. Seeing Ryan approach, she turned to him, relief in her eyes. "Ryan, something strange is happening," she began quickly. "Our sensors picked up unusual signals from beyond the colony's borders. We can't identify them." Ryan frowned. "Could it be another attack?" Kalara shook her head. "We're not sure. It doesn't match previous threats. Taruk is already investigating." Ryan nodded, grabbing his tools and heading towards the command center with her. Taruk was already there, studying a screen filled with strange symbols and patterns. His expression was serious, clearly troubled by what he saw. "This is not ordinary," Taruk stated firmly. "It appears someone or something is trying to communicate with us, but the signals are scrambled and unclear. Could it be a trap?" Ryan asked cautiously. "Possibly," Taruk admitted. "But if it's a genuine attempt at communication, we cannot ignore it. We must respond carefully." Kalara stepped forward. "Let me help decode the signals. I might find something useful." Taruk agreed, and Kalara quickly set to work, her fingers moving swiftly over the controls. Ryan watched, amazed at her skill and intelligence. He admired how she approached every problem with calmness and determination. After several hours of focused work, Kalara finally paused, looking thoughtful but excited. "I think I found something," she announced. "The message seems peaceful, an invitation to meet at a neutral location." Ryan felt wary but also intrigued. "Should we trust it?" Taruk was silent for a moment before speaking firmly. "We can't afford to ignore potential allies. We should accept cautiously, prepare for anything." The leaders agreed, deciding Ryan, Taruk, Kalara, and a small group of warriors would attend the meeting. The following day, they set out carefully, traveling to the agreed-upon location, a clearing surrounded by dense forests, quiet and remote. When they arrived, Ryan scanned the area carefully, alert for any sign of danger. Soon, a group appeared from the shadows, aliens unlike any Ryan had seen before. Tall and graceful, with skin shimmering like crystal. Their appearance was striking but gentle. Their leader stepped forward slowly, hands raised in peaceful greeting. "Greetings," she spoke softly, her voice melodic. "We mean no harm. Our people are called the Lumarians." Ryan and his companions relaxed slightly but stayed alert. Taruk stepped forward respectfully. "Greetings, Lumarians. I am Taruk. This is Ryan and Kalara. Why have you contacted us?" The Lumarian leader smiled gently. "We have observed your recent battles and your unity. Our people desire peace and understanding. We wish to learn from you and perhaps form an alliance." Ryan glanced at Taruk and Kalara, hope and relief showing in their eyes. This was unexpected but welcome news. Over the next few hours, the two groups talked openly. The Lumarians explained their history, their values of peace, and their knowledge of the surrounding regions. They warned that other colonies might also notice the growing strength of Ryan's colony. Bringing more threats, Ryan listened carefully, realizing the importance of this new alliance. "Together, we can protect each other," he said firmly. The Lumarian leader nodded gracefully. "Exactly. Unity is our best defense." After their conversation, both groups agreed to regular communication and mutual aid. Ryan felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing they had gained powerful allies who shared their values of peace and cooperation. Returning to the colony, spirits were high. Everyone was excited about their new friends. But Ryan also knew they must remain cautious. Threats still existed, and peace required vigilance and strength. Days passed smoothly, and the colony's alliance with the Lumarians grew stronger. They exchanged knowledge, technology, and strategies, strengthening both sides. Kalara was particularly thrilled, enjoying long discussions with the Lumarians about their advanced understanding of science and nature. One evening, as Ryan finished his tasks, he found Kalara sitting quietly, deep in thought. "You look worried," he said gently, sitting beside her. She sighed softly. "I am. The Lumarians warned us of growing threats. I can't help but worry about our future." Ryan smiled reassuringly. "We've faced many challenges already. With friends like the Lumarians and leaders like Taruk, we'll be ready for anything." Kalara smiled warmly, feeling comforted by his confidence. "I hope you're right." Ryan felt sure of himself. "I know I am." They sat quietly, enjoying the peace and calm of the moment. The colony had faced much hardship, but they had also found strength and unity. Ryan felt grateful for everything: his friends, his community, and even the challenges that made them stronger. Looking at Kalara, Ryan felt a deep appreciation for their friendship. Together, they had overcome fear and uncertainty, building something meaningful. And he knew that as long as they stayed united, they could face any threat, no matter how powerful. Under the quiet stars, Ryan and Kalara talked long into the night, sharing dreams and hopes for their colony's future. The bond between humans and aliens had grown deep, based on trust, courage, and shared goals. Ryan finally understood his true purpose, not just surviving, but creating a community built on unity and understanding. And as he looked out over the colony, peaceful under the night sky, he knew they would always face challenges head-on together. Days turned into weeks, and the colony worked hard to prepare for any future threats. Ryan spent his days strengthening defenses, and his nights helping Kalara study various strategies and technologies. They had grown close, forming a strong friendship, based on trust and respect. Together, they were determined to keep their colony safe. One morning, as Ryan was checking the security systems, he received a message to meet urgently at the colony's central command. Arriving quickly, he found Taruk and several other leaders already waiting, their faces serious and tense. "We received troubling news," Taruk began, speaking directly to Ryan. "Scouts reported movements from the hostile colony. They're preparing another attack, bigger this time." Ryan took a deep breath, his heart pounding slightly. "How much time do we have?" he asked calmly. "Not much," Kalara answered quietly. "Perhaps only a few days. We need to finalize our defenses." The group quickly went to work, double-checking all preparations. Ryan felt responsible, knowing the attackers targeted the colony because of humans, especially him. He couldn't shake the feeling of guilt, even though he knew it wasn't his fault. "You seem troubled," Kalara noted gently, walking alongside him as they inspected the perimeter later that day. Ryan sighed. "They're attacking because of me, because of humans. I don't want anyone else to get hurt." Kalara placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Ryan, they're attacking because they fear unity. Humans have shown strength, courage, and kindness. They envy that. We chose to stand together, remember." Her words comforted Ryan, reminding him of their shared purpose. "You're right," he said, smiling gratefully. Together, we can protect our home. As the day of the expected attack approached, tension grew. Warriors stood guard, and colonists worked together, creating emergency shelters and preparing supplies. Ryan worked tirelessly, his mind sharp and alert. The attack finally came late at night. Alarms blared across the colony, waking everyone. Instantly, Ryan jumped to action, running to his position alongside Taruk and Kalara. Looking into the darkness, they could see movement enemies approaching silently and swiftly. "Stay calm and remember our training," Taruk commanded firmly. Ryan felt ready, confident in their preparations. As the attackers moved closer, Ryan realized the enemy colony had released more aggressive creatures, dangerous and well-coordinated. He took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. "Together," Ryan shouted, rallying everyone around him. The battle began fiercely, chaos quickly erupting. Ryan moved swiftly, protecting his friends and fellow colonists, fighting with strength and determination. He remained calm, applying strategies he had practiced endlessly. Nearby, Taruk fought valiantly and Kalara directed others skillfully. Guiding them through the chaos, Ryan saw a creature charging towards a group of unarmed colonists. Without hesitation, he sprinted towards it, tackling it away just in time. The beast snarled angrily, snapping at him. Ryan held it off, his heart racing. Dr. UK joined him quickly, fighting side by side until the creature retreated. "Good save," Taruk said breathlessly. "Couldn't let them get hurt," Ryan replied, breathing heavily. Hours passed, the fighting relentless, but slowly the defenders pushed back the attackers. Ryan's leadership and bravery inspired others, strengthening their resolve. Finally, as dawn broke, the enemy retreated, defeated once again. Exhausted but relieved, the colony gathered, assessing injuries and damages. Fortunately, losses were minimal thanks to their preparedness and courage. Ryan sat quietly, catching his breath. Kalara joined him, sitting close. "We survived," she said softly, relief clear in her voice. Ryan nodded, feeling grateful. "Because we stayed united," Taruk approached, looking proud. "You fought like true warriors today," he said, addressing both Ryan and Kalara. "Our enemies underestimated us." "They underestimated our unity," Ryan corrected gently. Dr. UK smiled warmly. "Yes, exactly. Together, we proved stronger than they imagined." Over the following days, the colony repaired damages, and life returned slowly to normal. Ryan, Taruk, and Kalara continued training others, knowing threats might still arise. But they felt confident, stronger now than ever before. One evening, as Ryan and Kalara walked together, she stopped suddenly, looking at him seriously. "Ryan, you've changed everything here. Our colony is stronger because of you." Ryan smiled warmly, feeling touched. "No, Kalara, we changed it together. Humans, aliens, all of us." She nodded thoughtfully, looking up at the stars. "Together, we can face anything, can't we?" Ryan followed her gaze, feeling hopeful and strong. "Yes, Kalara, together, we can." Under the bright stars of Zener, they stood quietly, united by friendship and courage, ready for whatever the future might hold. Days passed, and life slowly returned to normal in the colony. Ryan resumed his work, fixing machines and vehicles, enjoying the simple peace it brought him. However, his actions against the Growlic and during the ceremonial tests continued to spark curiosity among aliens and humans alike. Ryan often found himself answering questions or demonstrating simple exercises to show his techniques. Kalara continued her research into human abilities, spending more time with Ryan, observing and documenting everything carefully. She often asked him to demonstrate physical tasks, noting his strength, agility, and endurance with excitement and amazement. "Ryan, do all humans possess abilities like yours?" she asked one afternoon, observing him effortlessly lift a heavy metal component into place. Ryan smiled modestly. "Not all humans, but many do." Strength comes from training, discipline, and sometimes just natural talent. Kalara recorded his answer carefully. Your species is remarkable. It makes me wonder what else humans are capable of. Before Ryan could respond, an urgent message came through the colony's communication system. The voice sounded worried. Attention! Everyone, we have reports of strange activity near the outer defenses. Please stay alert. Ryan and Kalara exchanged worried glances. Ryan quickly wiped his hands clean and moved toward the door. I better check this out, he said firmly. Stay safe? I'm coming with you, Kalara insisted. Following closely Dot as they reached the colony's main gates, they saw Taruk and other warriors already gathered. Taruk gave Ryan a respectful nod. We face an unknown threat. Your skills may be needed again. Ryan nodded calmly, ready to help. Together, they moved cautiously towards the perimeter of the colony. Everything seemed quiet, almost too quiet. Suddenly, from the shadows, creatures began to appear. They were smaller than the Gralloc, but moved swiftly, their sharp claws and teeth flashing dangerously in the fading light. Taruk quickly gave orders, forming a defensive line. Ryan took a deep breath, calming himself, ready for whatever came. Next, the creatures attacked swiftly, testing the defenses. Warriors fought bravely, but the attackers moved with unsettling coordination and intelligence. They're organized, Ryan called out. Noticing the unusual behavior, Taruk grunted in agreement, struggling to hold his ground. We must push them back. Ryan moved quickly, helping where he could, using speed and strategy to confuse and drive back the attackers. Kalara stayed close, analyzing the creatures' movements, calling out advice and warnings. Their attacks are coordinated through sound signals. Kalara shouted suddenly, noticing the creatures responding to high-pitched cries. If we disrupt their communication, they'll become disorganized. Ryan looked around quickly, searching for something he could use. Spotting a metal pipe lying nearby, he grabbed it and struck a large metal surface hard, creating a loud ringing noise. The sudden, sharp sound echoed across the battlefield, startling the creatures and throwing their coordination into chaos. It's working! Kalara exclaimed, relief clear in her voice. Taking advantage of the confusion, Taruk rallied his warriors, pushing the attackers back until they fled into the darkness. Everyone stood silently for a moment, catching their breath, relieved that the immediate danger had passed. Well done, Taruk said, breathing heavily and looking gratefully at Ryan and Kalara. Your quick thinking saved many lives today. Ryan nodded respectfully. We work best when we work together. Taruk smiled, a genuine warmth in his eyes. Agreed. After securing the perimeter, the group returned to the colony, discussing the strange attack. They soon discovered that the creatures had been deliberately released by a rival colony. Jealous and fearful of the human-alien alliance that had strengthened recently, Kalara's eyes filled with concern as she read the reports. This was planned carefully. They fear us because humans have shown unexpected strength and courage. Ryan sighed deeply, feeling a weight on his shoulders. We need to be ready for anything. This might not be the last attack. Taruk nodded firmly. We must strengthen our defenses and prepare ourselves better. Over the next few days, Ryan worked tirelessly alongside Taruk, Kalara, and others to reinforce the colony's defenses. They planned carefully, considering every possible threat. Ryan's knowledge of human tactics and strength became crucial in their planning. Kalara spent long hours studying data and developing new methods to detect and disrupt potential threats. Ryan admired her dedication, seeing how her intelligence and determination brought hope to everyone in the colony. One evening, as Ryan was finishing his work, Kalara approached him quietly, looking serious. Ryan, can I ask you something personal? She began softly. Of course, he replied, smiling gently at her. Do you ever miss Earth, your family, your home? She asked softly, genuine curiosity and concern in her voice. Ryan looked at the stars above, quiet for a moment. Sometimes I do. But here, I've found a different kind of family. The colony, all of you, you've become my home." Kalara smiled warmly, touched by his words. "We feel the same. You are important to us." Ryan smiled back, feeling deeply connected to his alien friend. Together they watched the stars, feeling comforted by the presence of one another, knowing they would face whatever came next together. That night, Ryan felt stronger, not just physically, but emotionally. He knew challenges would come, threats would arise, but he would not face them alone. He had friends, allies, and a purpose. His life on Zener was not just about survival. It was about building something lasting and meaningful, a future where different species could coexist and thrive. And for the first time, Ryan truly felt at peace. The following day was unlike any other in the small colony. Ryan woke up early, feeling sore but strangely satisfied. He stretched, feeling every muscle protest from yesterday's encounter with the Growlithe. As he stepped outside his small home, he noticed a group of aliens and humans gathered, talking excitedly. When they spotted him, everyone fell quiet, staring at him with respect and admiration. "Good morning, Ryan," called Kalara, the alien scientist who had praised him after the incident. She walked up to him, her large, intelligent eyes full of curiosity. "Everyone has been talking about what you did. You are now quite famous here." Ryan rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly, not used to being the center of attention. "I just reacted. Anyone would have done the same," he said humbly. Kalara shook her head gently, smiling. "No, Ryan, not everyone. You showed bravery and skill beyond what anyone expected. You saved many lives." As they spoke, another alien named Taruk approached. He was a strong warrior from a species known for their fighting skills. He watched Ryan closely, not smiling. Ryan felt a bit uncomfortable under Taruk's intense gaze. "You did well," Taruk finally said, though his voice was firm. "But strength without training can be dangerous. Humans are strange." Ryan felt slightly offended but remained calm. "I've had some training. Maybe not like yours, but enough to handle myself." Taruk nodded slowly, still looking doubtful. "We will see," he said cryptically, turning and walking away. Ryan glanced at Kalara, puzzled. What was that about? Kalara sighed softly. "Taruk respects power and skill, but your methods surprised him. He sees your victory as a challenge to his own skills." "You might have gained a rival," Ryan frowned, not wanting any trouble. He had just done what was necessary, nothing more. But he understood Taruk's feelings. Warriors took pride in their strength and training. Over the next few days, Ryan's life changed dramatically. Aliens and humans came to see him regularly, asking questions about humans and their abilities. Ryan did his best to answer politely, although he was not comfortable with so much attention. He still preferred working quietly with machines. One evening, as Ryan worked late in his workshop, Kalara entered quietly. She watched him work for a few moments before speaking. "Ryan, I've studied your species more closely since your encounter with the Growlithe. Humans are truly fascinating," she said gently. Stepping closer, Ryan looked up from the machinery he was repairing and smiled lightly. "We have our strengths and weaknesses, just like anyone else." "True," she agreed, "but your adaptability and resilience are remarkable. Where does this come from?" Ryan put down his tools, thoughtful. Earth wasn't always an easy place. Humans had to adapt to many challenges, harsh climates, dangerous animals, and even conflicts with each other. It shaped us to become survivors. Kalara nodded, taking notes on a small device. "And your calmness during the fight, was that part of your training?" Ryan laughed softly. "More like instinct. I grew up around animals. You learn how to stay calm around creatures that could harm you. They sense fear." "Incredible," Kalara murmured, clearly fascinated. "Your world must be very different from ours." "Very different," Ryan confirmed, smiling at the memories. "But not so different that we can't understand each other." Just then, Taruk entered the workshop unannounced, interrupting their conversation. He looked serious, his eyes fixed on Ryan. "It is decided," Taruk said plainly. "The elders agree there must be a ceremonial test. We must see the true strength of a human." Ryan's heart sank slightly. He didn't like the idea of fighting again, especially against someone who considered him a rival. "Is that really necessary?" Ryan asked, hoping for a peaceful resolution. "Yes," Taruk said firmly, crossing his arms. "You have shown exceptional abilities, but our people must know if this is real strength or just luck." Ryan sighed, realizing he had no choice. "All right, if that is what your people need." Taruk gave a small, respectful nod, clearly pleased by Ryan's acceptance. "The ceremony will be held tomorrow. Prepare yourself." When Taruk left, Kalara touched Ryan's arm gently. "Be careful. Taruk is not your enemy, but he will not hold back." Ryan smiled reassuringly. "I understand. I'll be fine." That night, Ryan hardly slept, thinking about the upcoming ceremony. He wasn't afraid, but he felt uneasy. He didn't want to hurt anyone, especially someone from his own community. The next morning, the colony gathered around a large open area used for special events. Ryan stood quietly, stretching to warm up. Taruk stood opposite him, muscular and strong, clearly confident in his abilities. Everyone was silent, waiting eagerly. An elder alien stepped forward, raising a hand for silence. "Today we gather to test the strength of Ryan, the human who bravely defeated the Growlithe. We must know if this strength was skill or mere fortune. Let the ceremony begin." Ryan and Taruk moved towards each other, respectful but determined. Ryan could see that Taruk was eager to prove himself, but there was no anger in his eyes, just determination. "Fight well," Taruk said quietly, preparing himself. "You too," Ryan replied calmly. They circled each other, carefully studying movements and positions. Suddenly, Taruk lunged forward, moving quickly and skillfully. Ryan dodged smoothly, keeping his focus. He did not want to hurt Taruk. He just wanted to end this quickly and safely. The two continued exchanging moves, each testing the other's abilities. Ryan realized Taruk was indeed a skilled fighter. He had to think fast and act carefully. Finally, seeing an opportunity, Ryan managed to grip Taruk's arm firmly, using leverage rather than pure strength to flip the alien onto the ground gently. Taruk hit the ground with surprise, looking up at Ryan with shock and respect. Ryan immediately offered his hand, helping Taruk back to his feet. The crowd erupted into cheers. Impressed by the demonstration of skill and restraint, Taruk nodded slowly, breathing deeply. "Your strength is real, and your heart is honorable," he admitted, his voice filled with newfound respect. Ryan smiled sincerely. "We fight to protect, not to harm." After the ceremony, everyone celebrated again. Ryan felt relief and happiness, knowing he had gained respect without causing unnecessary harm. Kalara approached him, smiling warmly. "You have taught us much," she said softly. "Not just about your physical strength, but about the heart and spirit of humanity." Ryan felt humble again, grateful to be part of such a diverse community. He had never sought attention or praise, but now he felt proud. He had shown his new friends the best qualities of his species, and in doing so had brought them all closer together. Ryan wiped his hands on a greasy cloth, looking at the engine he had just fixed. Life on planet Zener was calm and routine for most humans living there. It was a small colony filled with different species of aliens and a few dozen humans. They worked together, lived together, and depended on each other. But humans were still somewhat of a mystery to their alien friends. Ryan, in particular, was a quiet man, preferring machines to conversations. The sun was setting, turning the sky into shades of purple and orange. Ryan closed the hood of the rover he had been working on and stretched his arms. It had been a long day, but he felt good. He was about to head home when a loud alarm suddenly filled the air, echoing across the settlement. Ryan turned quickly, looking around. The aliens nearby stopped what they were doing, confused and scared. He saw panic in their eyes. Something bad had happened. Something had breached the outer defenses of their settlement. People and aliens began to run, yelling and screaming. Ryan felt a rush of fear too, but he forced himself to remain calm. He moved toward the source of the alarm, pushing past the crowd. In moments like these, he always felt responsible to help. Even though he wasn't a soldier. As he reached the main gate, he saw clearly what had caused the alarm. The Growlic, a huge beast known across Zener as an apex predator, had entered the colony. It was massive, with thick, muscular legs and covered in dark, armored scales. Its teeth were sharp, each the size of Ryan's forearm. It roared, a terrifying sound that shook the ground beneath their feet. The guards, both alien and human, tried shooting at it with their weapons, but the beast's armor was too thick. The Growlic barely seemed bothered, continuing to move forward, snarling and snapping its jaws. It was heading straight toward a group of frightened aliens who were frozen with fear. Without thinking, Ryan stepped forward, walking slowly towards the beast. He had no weapon, no armor, just the greasy rag he was still holding. Everyone stared in shock, calling out to him to stop, but he didn't listen. He knew what he had to do. The Growlic noticed Ryan and stopped, its huge eyes narrowing in confusion. Humans didn't usually confront beasts like this, especially unarmed. Ryan continued to move closer, keeping his eyes locked onto the creature. He could hear his heart beating fast in his chest, but he ignored the fear. "Come on," Ryan whispered softly to himself, breathing deeply. He knew about animals. He had grown up on Earth around creatures big and small. He remembered everything. He had learned. Animals could sense fear, but they also responded to calmness and confidence. The beast roared again, lunging forward, jaws wide open. Ryan moved quickly, stepping to the side at the last second, narrowly avoiding the sharp teeth. The Growlic was strong but slow, its massive body heavy and hard to maneuver. Ryan circled the creature carefully, watching its movements closely. Every time it tried to bite or swipe at him with its claws, Ryan was already out of reach. He was patient, waiting for the right moment. The aliens watched in horror, convinced Ryan would soon be killed. But as minutes passed, their fear turned into awe. Ryan knew he couldn't outrun or overpower the Growlic. He had to be smart. When the creature lunged at him again, he jumped up onto its back, gripping tightly onto its scales. The beast roared, in frustration, shaking itself violently to throw Ryan off. But Ryan held on, using all his strength. "Hold steady," Ryan said quietly to himself, climbing further along the creature's back until he reached its head. The Growlic was now panicking, unable to shake him off. Ryan remembered that every animal had a weak spot, a place where it was vulnerable. With a deep breath, Ryan struck the back of the Growlic's head with his fist, hitting it repeatedly in the same spot. The creature roared again, louder and angrier, thrashing even more wildly. But Ryan kept hitting, not giving up. He was strong, tougher than even he realized. Finally, the Growlic stumbled and slowed, weakened by Ryan's persistent strikes. It sank to its knees, breathing heavily, and then collapsed onto the ground, exhausted and defeated. Ryan quickly jumped off, landing safely next to the beast. For a moment, everything was silent. The crowd of aliens and humans stared in disbelief. Ryan stood calmly, breathing deeply, his clothes torn and covered in dirt and sweat. Then slowly, cheers erupted around him. Humans and aliens alike ran towards him, celebrating the impossible victory. Alien scientist Kalar approached him cautiously, amazement in her eyes. "How did you do that, Ryan? How did you defeat the Growlic without weapons?" Ryan smiled gently, shrugging his shoulders. "I just did what I had to do," he said softly, feeling a bit embarrassed by all the attention. Kalara looked at him with a newfound respect. "Your species truly is incredible," she whispered, shaking her head slowly in amazement. That night, The colony celebrated Ryan's bravery. But Ryan himself felt humble. He knew he hadn't done it for glory or fame. He had done it simply because it was the right thing to do. As he sat quietly among his friends, listening to their laughter and joy, Ryan felt a deep sense of peace and purpose. He had found his place, not just as a human, but as a valued member of the entire colony. He knew that this day had changed everything